Welcome back to week 6, new NEW 35, estimating square roots. We are going to be looking at now what happens when we have some of the square roots that are not those perfect squares that we talked about. So looking at that list again, we have those perfect squares, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, 169, 196, and 225. And that goes with numbers 1 through 15. So what we're looking at here now, what we did last time was basically we had a number on that list. Now if you look at this number does not fall in that list. It falls between two numbers. So that happens right here. So we know that the square root of 27 falls between the square root of 25 and the square root of 36. All right. Well, the square root of 25 simplifies to 5, and the square root of 36 simplifies to 6. So you know that the square root of 27 is somewhere between 5 and 6. Now, 27 is closer to which number, 25 or 36? Sometimes it's going to be so close you can't really tell. But this one you can. It's closer to this whole side, right? Because 27 is much closer to 25 than it is to 36. So it's going to be closer to 5. And if we wanted to estimate and give that final, like to the nearest tenth, I should have put that right here, estimate to the nearest tenth. Which is just one decimal place. Maybe it's 5.1. Okay, and this is where your answer might be a little bit different than mine, but like 5.1, 5.2 would both be acceptable answers. Okay. Now, here we have a negative, but it's the same thing. Your integers are just going to be negative. So all right, I lost my writing there. So I have 25 and 36 here. So now 35, what two numbers is that going to be between? Well, it's going to be between 25 and 36 again. Okay, so it's going to be between the square root of 25 and 36. But now, since it's negative, it's going to be between negative 5 and negative 6. Right? I can't really put that dash in there because I have negatives in. But now, what's it closer to? 35 is much closer to 36. So I know I'm closer to negative 6 than I am to 5 like I was over here. So I'm closer to negative 6, but I'm not at negative 6 yet. So I'm still at negative 5 point something. Okay, but now since I'm closer to 6, maybe I'm at like negative 5.8 or 9 because I'm really, really close to negative 6, but I'm not quite there yet. Remember, anytime you have two numbers on a number line, say here's your 5 and here's your 6. Here's 0.5. Right? Here's your 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Here's your 0.5. Here's your 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. All right, so let's look at 62. 62 is going to be between which two numbers? 62 is going to be between 49 and 64. So it's going to be between root 49 and root 64. And notice how I do it. This is my template. It's the same thing each time. That means it's between 7 and 8. 62 is much closer to the 64, which makes it closer to the 8, but it's not at 8 yet. It's between 7 and 8. So you know that your number has to be 7 point something. But because it's closer to 8, and it's really close to 8, 62 and 64, maybe it's 7.8. Okay? So for the next one, $51. 51 is again between the square root of 49 and 64. But now it's between negative, the negatives, right? So it's between -7 and -8. So now it's -7 point something. Well, 51, what's it closer to? Is it closer to 49 or 64? It's closer to 49. So it's going to be closer to 7. 51 is pretty close to 49, so maybe it's 7.1 or 2. Okay, -7.2. All right, let's look at this next one, 183. 183 is between 169 and 196. So 169, whoops, and 196. So that means it's between 13 and 14. So that means it's 13 point something. 183, oh boy, that's kind of right down the middle. I mean, if you look at it, it's 14 away from 169, and it's 13 away from 196. So that's a perfect example of when it would be something like 13.5, right down the middle. Okay, right down the middle, not really closer to anything. Now, what about number 6? Square root of -123. So 123 is going to be between 121 and 141, and we're negative. So -121 and -144. So that's between -11 and -12. So we're going to be -11 point something. 123 is way closer to the 121. So I'm closer to the -11. So -11 point, maybe 2. Okay. All right. 195. So 195 is between 169 and 196. So I have 169 and 196. So you see it's the same actually as the one directly above it. It's still in between 13 and 14. I'm still 13 point something, but now, whereas 183 was right down the middle, this one is way closer to the 196. You see, 195 is one number away from 196. So this would be where you have like 13.9 because it's just there. It's just barely there. And really, if you looked at rounding, maybe it would round up to 14. Okay? All right, and then the last one, -214. We're in between -196 and negative 225. So we're negative 14 and negative 15. Oops, I don't need that there. Negative 15. Negative 214 is very, very close. No, sorry, not very, very close, but it's about 10 away from 225. It's about 15 away from that. So it's in the middle, but it's slightly closer to this one. So maybe I'm at negative 14.7, maybe 6 or 7, since I'm slightly closer to the 225, but not by much. All right, so that's how you're going to estimate your square roots. Now, here's the thing. This will be the only section you are asked to estimate on. Every other section you are going to be doing this without, well, I had you do this without a calculator, but every other section you are not going to be getting a decimal answer for any of these. So after this, put this section in a nice neat box, because after this you will not be doing any estimation except for kind of keeping it in the back of your mind of like, am I on the right track with this? Okay, that's really where the estimation piece comes in with this. All right, ask me any questions you have, and I will see you soon.